she strode into the courtroom, a woman transformed Hristine Brown, not merely Kody's ex-wife anymore, but a plaintiff with flames burning in her eyes and a file stuffed with deceit. Nobody thought she would return, and certainly not like this. When she departed the plural marriage, everyone presumed she was finished, that she'd go away with her pride and rebuild herself quietly. But what Hristine took to court wasn't bitterness alone. It was proof years of unanswered texts, questionable money transactions, and behind-the-scenes deals that were never on the air. And now she stood poised to tear open the truth, even if it cost her the wrath of the entire Brown family. Because this lawsuit wasn't about property alone. It was about vengeance. What would you do if your ex-husband, your sister, wives, and your entire legacy were all wrapped up in one courtroom? Tell us in the comments below, because this tale is about to get ugly. It's a chilly Monday morning in Flagstaff, Arizona, the type of morning when the air is fragrant with the scent of pine. But there's a nip of something chillier, something starker, like fighting. And within the walls of the Coconino County Courthouse, it's not merely the AC that makes the bones numb. Hristine Brown comes alone. No entourage, no legal team swarming the hallway. Just Hristine. Beige trench coat, pursed lips, a manila folder clutched under one arm like it contains her whole history. Because it sort of does. It's been almost 2 years since she departed the Brown family or fled it, depending on one's perspective. And for most, that was where her story concluded. A woman who recovered her life after almost decades in a plural marriage. That was only the start. Because while Hristine walked away from the man, the family, and the TV cameras, what she did not walk away from was her interest in Brown Family Holdings, LLC, the business umbrella constructed discreetly over the years. An economic spider web containing book deals, TLC payments, real estate income, and family possessions divided among 4 women and 1 man, Kody Brown. And as Hristine pushes the heavy courtroom door open, that man, her ex-husband, former spiritual guru, father of her kids, is already ensconced inside, arms folded. She doesn't glance his way. She doesn't have to. Today is not about him. It's about what he owes her. Daring, silent revenge is revenge nonetheless, and sometimes it cuts closer to the bone when served up with a smile. The room is small and wood-paneled with cramped benches and an echo that makes every whispered curse a living thing. On the left, Hristine. On the right, Kody and Robyn, both dressed for church. Kody in a rumpled navy suit, Robyn in rich burgundy, hugging his arm like a publicity stunt. Behind them, Janelle sits alone, thumbing through a spiral-bound book full of color-coded tabs. Meri, not present, not yet. The buzz in the gallery rises as Judge Meri F. Simmons enters, stern-faced, red lipsticked, not here for drama, but probably aware it's coming anyway. She glances over the case file, then lifts her gaze to the parties. Hristine Allred Brown versus Kody Wynn Brown and Associates. We're here to determine financial division business entitlement and the legality of post-separation asset movement within the shared LLC. Hristine stands slowly. Her attorney, a tough-as-nails woman named Tanya Morales, known to be a divorce court killer, stands up with her. Your Honor, Tanya says, we're not merely seeking Christine's equitable share. We are asking for a forensic examination of all accounts and asset transfers made by Brown Family Holdings, LLC, including those post-separation, which we believe contain fraudulent distributions. There it is, the first thing Kody rigidifies. Robyn speaks softly to him. He doesn't glance at Hristine. Not at all. But his fingers drum on the bench as if a man were marking off seconds before a blast. Your Honor, we'd like to move to dismiss this rubbish, Kody's attorney says. A smooth guy in a charcoal suit. My client has done nothing wrong. Mrs. Brown was paid her share when she left the marriage. This is mere personal spite masquerading as a lawsuit. But Tanya's grin is wolf-like. Then you shouldn't object to us having a peek at the books. When secrets reside in spreadsheets, justice resides in the audit trail. As opening statements conclude. Finally, Christine addresses the room. Her tone is even, almost warm, not dramatic, not irate, just authentic. I spent years raising children, cooking dinner, working on the show, and assisting with the business enterprises. I did not receive a paycheck for any of it, but we were building something together. I was told. She hesitates, not for dramatics, but because she wants to. When I departed, I didn't request a penny, but then I discovered not everything remained the same once I was gone. She picks up the folder and passes it to the clerk. On the inside, timelines, wire transfers, business purchases, and personal payments to Robyn. Payments described as consulting with no evidence of consulting work. The courtroom changes. Even Janelle raises an eyebrow. Judge Simmons opens the file, and her eyes widen slightly. Defense. Have these documents been disclosed? Kody's lawyer blinks. We haven't seen those before. Christine looks straight at Kody now, not with rage, with pity. You never thought I'd fight back. Even the quiet wife remembers everything, especially what was taken from her in silence. Robyn leans in close and whispers once more, her gaze snapping toward Christine like a hawk, evaluating a smaller bird that just bared its claws. The rest of the day devolves into a tug-of-war. Tanya details the background of the LLC founded in joint family fund, with every wife contributing via unpaid labor. Revenue streams, book deals, public appearances, and of course, TLC. But something shifted in. Once Christine departed, a trail of cash withdrawals and advisory fees followed, all to a new LLC named RB Consulting filed in Robyn's name without a paper trail of any work done. The math more than dollar slipped quietly from the family pool into Robyn's. Christine's voice never falters. I don't want vengeance, I want fairness, and I want the truth on record. Kody finally pipes up. Loud outrage. You left, Christine. You walked out on the family. Now you want to come back and steal what you didn't deserve? Christine shakes her head. You mean like Robyn did? Sometimes the hardest slap is simply the truth spoken softly. Janelle closes her notebook for a second. She seems like she wants to say something, but doesn't. Not yet. Christine exits the stand as the judge declares recess. The courtroom clears, tension thicker than before. The hallway hums with rumors. A few journalists scribble frantically, and down that hall, silently through a side door, is Meri wearing black, face expressionless. As Christine walks by her, their eyes lock, no words spoken, but something hovers there. Unresolved business, unsaid things, and one of them just enlisted in the war. The quiet ones always show up when the fire's already lit, because they're either there to extinguish it or add gas to it. The courtroom hums as the doors open for the afternoon hearing. But today, there's something different in the atmosphere. Something Meri Brown. She doesn't sit with Christine. She doesn't sit with Kody. She takes a seat in the middle row, arms crossed, eyes narrowed, middle ground. But nothing about Meri is anything but not today. Judge Simmons comes back into the courtroom and calls it to order. Before we go forward to direct testimony, she says the court would like to look at the money documents presented this morning. Defense. You may reply. Kody's attorney stands. Your Honor, the alleged evidence is circumstantial at best. Consulting fees are legal. There is no law that requires family members to divide earnings after separation. But Tanya doesn't even bat an eye. She opens a fresh binder. So why? She demands, staring at Kody. Did those payments start 2 weeks after Christine left? Why are there no invoices, no emails, no records of work? And why was Robyn the sole beneficiary of these counseling fees? Robyn stiffens in her chair. I provided emotional support. She exclaims, I was counseling the family through a transition, guiding, Christine whispers, not quite under her breath, or guiding the money. The judge silences the room with a look, but the crack is already there. And now Tanya is ready to wedge it wide open. Sometimes it's not about proving guilt. It's about letting the guilty prove themselves. Your Honor, Tanya continues, we'd like to call our first witness, Janelle Brown. A collective ripple goes through the room. Janelle stands, appearing to be anywhere else she'd like to be, but striving to take the stand with the air of one who's accustomed to keeping the family together. She stands, lifts hand, is sworn in, and sits. Mrs. Brown, Tanya starts softly. Can you tell me about your involvement with the family finances? Janelle nods. I did most of the budgeting, groceries, utilities for years, even after Christine split. And did you know about the advisory payments to Robyn Brown? Janelle pauses. Not initially. And when you learned, her voice is quieter. I spoke to Kody. He told me Robyn deserved it. I questioned him about how he didn't reply. Tanya moves in closer. Did you see those payments as acceptable? No. Why not? Because Christine constructed as much as any of us. She raised 6 children. She worked. She participated in every book, every season, every transaction, and she left with nothing. While Robyn, her voice breaks. While Robyn made money from Christine's silence, even loyalty has boundaries. Particularly when the arithmetic begins to taste like betrayal, the lawyer for Kody protests, but the judge rules otherwise. Tanya lays out more documents, text messages, emails between Janelle and Kody. One stands out. A message from early, just weeks after Christine moved out. Janelle, we need to redistribute the assets fairly. It's not just about emotions anymore. Kody, Christine left. That was her choice. You're either with us or you're next. Gasps ripple through the gallery. Christine doesn't react because she already knew, but hearing it out loud, that's something else entirely. Tanya hunches forward. Mrs. Brown, what did you make of that message? Janelle shrugs that he was picking Robyn again. Like always, Robyn fidgets in her chair. Her mouth presses into a pale line. Kody leans forward across the table, talking low now in a hurried whisper. But the judge observes. And so does Meri, still unflinching, still inscrutable. Sometimes silence in a courtroom is louder than any admission. The judge allows a break. The gavel hits wood. People stand, stretch, whisper. Christine remains seated across the aisle. Robyn approaches the bench, just a few steps closer to Christine. She doesn't speak, she just stares. And for a second, everything else goes quiet. Christine looks up, her voice barely audible but razor sharp. You're scared. That's why you're here. Robyn blinks. You want to destroy everything. No, says Christine. You already have. I'm just flipping on the lights. Robyn's mouth drops, closes. She turns away, and Meri smiles. Just barely. The most frightening witness is the one who's remained silent because you never know who they're working for. Back in session, the next witness is summoned. To everyone's surprise, it's Aspen Brown, Christine's oldest daughter. She's fidgety, not a public speaker, not a drama queen, but she's furious. You can observe it in the firm grip she has on her statement. Please describe to the court what you saw. Tanya prompts. Aspen clears her throat. Once Mom departed, everything was different. My little brothers and sisters were not permitted to visit Dad unless Robyn was there. They would receive weekly phone calls. That ceased. And then Dad blocked Gwendolyn on social media, would not attend Truly's recital, informed us that it was due to lines having been crossed. And did your mother ask for money? Aspen shakes her head. She just needed peace, and he punished her for it. Tanya gives her a printed screenshot, a group text thread. 4 wives. Kody, Hristine, I'm moving to Utah. It's best for me, and truly, Meri, you're giving up. Robyn, this hurts all of us. Kody, you'll regret this. Everything you're walking away from, it won't be there if you change your mind. Aspen's voice cracks. She didn't regret it, but she deserved better than threats. The judge reclines, taking in the burden of the evidence. Even the court stenographer's fingers have slowed. Hristine takes a deep breath, and across the aisle, Kody, patriarch, fulcrum of this web, slouches further, lips compressed. No more smirks, no more posturing. Because this is more than a lawsuit. It's a reckoning. When your children become your accusers, no title can protect you, not even father. Finally, at the very end of the session, the judges heard. This case is about more than legal claims. It's about fairness, legacy, and shared responsibility. I want time to review this testimony in detail. And then she looks straight at Meri. Mrs. Brown, will you be testifying as a witness? The room comes to a halt. Kody spins round. Robyn tenses up. Hristine waits, and Meri smiles gently. I think I will. The most dangerous witness is the one who saw it all and has the receipts. The courtroom falls into stunned silence. Judge Simmons has just asked the question no one thought would ever be asked. Mrs. Brown, will you be acting as a witness? And Meri, quiet, unflinching, emotionally reserved. Meri simply answers, I think I will. No hesitation. No look at Kody. No traded glance with Robyn. Only those words. And in that instant, everything changes. When that person who's always observed finally gets a turn, you can bet they've been keeping tabs. Hristine sits up straight now, spine righted like reflex had taken control. Tanya Morales is leaning forward, lips curled into a quiet smile. This was not on their original list of witnesses. But then, sometimes in court, the truth doesn't happen. According to scripts, sometimes it just walks in wearing black. Meri gets up, slowly, and walks over to the stand. There's something calculated in each step, as if this has been mounting within her for years, decades. She puts up her hand, takes the oath, and sits down. Please state your name, Meri Barbara Brown, and your relationship to the plaintiff and the defendant. I was the first wife, spiritually married to Kody for more than years. I helped raise the other wife's children. I helped manage the household. And I was the first to be legally married to him. She stops. Then I was the first to be legally divorced, so he could marry Robyn. A low murmuration erupts in the courtroom. Kody's jaw clenches. Robyn shifts again, her eyes narrowing, but Meri doesn't even flinch. You can deceive the world for the cameras, but courtrooms don't have commercial breaks. Tanya stands up to it. Mrs. Brown, were you ever paid by Brown Family Holdings, LLC? No. Were you ever offered consulting fees like Robyn Brown? A slow head shake. Not once. And were you ever paid for your services, filming, household management, child rearing over the years? Not a chance. We were told it was for the family, that everything went into one pot, that we'd all benefit in the same way. Her tone is dead, unemotional, but I was never treated the same. Tanya holds up a printed chain of emails between Meri and Kody from previously unseen. Meri, I'd like to assist with the online clothing venture. I have time. I have concepts. Kody Robyn's managing that now. It would just get messy if you got involved. Tanya reads the line out loud. It would just get messy if you stepped in. What did that convey to you? Meri blinks, once that I was being phased out, quietly. Robyn wasn't merely a new wife. She was the new first wife. The most cruel betrayal doesn't always occur in a battle. It often occurs in the gradual destruction of your value. Kody's attorney stands up. Objection, emotional and irrelevant. Judge Simmons rebukes with an icy voice. This testimony is directly pertinent to the plaintiff's assertion of inequitable distribution and exclusion by design. Overruled, Meri leans forward now, as if shedding something long held. There were discussions, she tells them. Private ones of sharing assets, if things ever broke up. But somehow those discussions always seemed to conclude with Robyn having more. More time, more voice, more power. Tanya edges closer. Did you know about Robyn's new LLC, RB Consulting? Meri breathed slowly. Not until Hristine discovered it. Did you talk to Kody? Her eyes set. No. By that time, I already knew it would not make a difference. Hristine observes all of this in silence. Not in victory, but in silent sorrow. For this isn't merely about money. It's about how long they all lived within something that was broken and lied to each other that it was love. Tanya turns back to the bench. Your Honor, the prosecution believes the financial dealings reflect not just favoritism, but financial fraud by way of concealed payments and misrepresented business activity. The judge raises her brow. You're suggesting embezzlement. Tanya doesn't flinch. We'll let the IRS decide that part. When family becomes business and business becomes betrayal, there's always someone who profits in silence. Meri takes a long breath, and then she utters something no one was expecting. Hristine, she says quietly, finally turning around in court and meeting her gaze. I didn't stand up for you. Not when you left, not when they turned on you. I thought maybe if I remained true, I'd get my place back. Her voice breaks. I never did. Christine's lips part in a fraction of a second, wet eyes. No words escape. Meri goes on. I know I was harsh to you sometimes. I wanted to believe things, but to see how they remade everything after you left, she addresses the judge. She isn't angry. She's correct. Robyn leans in on Kody, furious, whispering. Now he simply sits straight ahead, white, sweaty, quiet, like a man who knows the castle he constructed is beginning to flood from within, and no one else is available to plug the gaps when the one you threw away becomes your biggest danger. It's already too late. The judge adjourns the courtroom for a brief recess. Outside, Arizona wind begins to blow, dust scurrying across the courthouse steps. Inside the corridor, Meri sits silently on a bench. Hristine approaches cautiously. They haven't communicated in months. Hristine freezes, and then says softly, you didn't have to do that. Meri shrugs. Yeah, I did. There's a lengthy silence. And then Hristine softly, thank you. It's not forgiveness. Not quite yet. But it's something Meri nods once, then mouths. If you win, don't forget the rest of us still in the wreckage. Hristine nods and exits. Sometimes healing begins in a courtroom, but it doesn't end there. Back in session, Tanya girds for her next witness, but the judge raises her hand. I want a break here, she continues. We've seen passionate and credible testimony that helps greatly to substantiate the plaintiff's complaint. Before we go on with other witnesses, I am directing an expedited audit of Brown family holdings and all related accounts, including RB Consulting, personal LLCs, and property transfers in the past 3 years. Gasps. Cameras click in the back. Kody pounds his hands on the bench. This is insanity. You're treating me like a criminal. No one said criminal, Mr. Brown. The judge interrupts coolly. Yet when the system starts asking questions, it usually already knows the answers. Session adjourned. As people file out, Hristine sits in the empty courtroom, staring at the now quiet bench, not smiling, just breathing. One storm has passed, but another one is coming because tomorrow Robyn takes the stand. And if Christine's papers are correct, What Robyn says here might decide whether Kody gets slapped with civil fines or charged with a crime. Christine reaches for her folder and exits slowly, powerfully, like a woman who came in pursuit of justice and may just carry it all off. The day starts with a whisper, not from a human being, but from the courthouse itself. The hum of buzzing lights, muffled camera shutters in the distance, squeak of cheap footwear on linoleum, a kind of tension that hangs on the walls like smoke. Because everyone knows what today is going to bring. Robyn Brown is going to testify and love her or despise her. She's the wild card, the smiley one for the cameras, the tearful one for the family behind whom banking fees are quietly collected. Early as usual, Christine sits down, preceded by Tanya, her face inscrutable, calm, concentrated, but white and knuckles clutch her notebook. Kody already has his seat, jaw clenched, arms folded, and Robyn. She appears in her usual tardy fashion, dressed all in white, pearl earrings, curled hair, a crucifix necklace barely visible under her blouse, and her eyes already glazed. Not with guilt, with performance. Sometimes the most frightening witness is the one who convinces herself she is telling the truth. Judge Simmons dispenses with niceties. "Mrs. Robyn Brown," she says, "take the stand, please." Robyn moves slowly, as if walking into a funeral, her own raising her hand, swearing in, sitting. Her voice shakes the moment it begins. "Your Honor, this is very hard for me. This family, this life. It's all that matters to me. I never thought I would be attacked by someone I used to consider a sister." Tanya stands up easily. No sarcasm. Pressure only. "We'll try to make this simpler. Mrs. Brown, please explain to us what RB Consulting is." Robyn blinks. "It's a small business I established to oversee some of my side work. Nothing significant." "What side work?" Appearances, influencer stuff, brand managing, that kind of thing." "And do you have records of these services, contracts, emails, anything with deliverables?" A pause. "No, not really. Most was verbal. Me and Kody." The judge leans forward. "You made more than $1 in consulting fees in months. Are you indicating to this court none of that was written down?" Robyn's hands shake slightly on the stand. "I didn't think I had to. It was for the family. If your defense is trust me, and nobody in the room does, you're already defeated." Tanya doesn't push. "Not yet." She turns. "Let's discuss Christine's leaving. Did you agree with her going?" Robyn breathes, as if she's been holding this moment. "No, I was heartbroken. We all were. She destroyed the family. She gave up. And yet you profited financially." Robyn's voice heightened slightly. "That's not true. Then why did your payouts begin 2 weeks following Christine's departure?" I don't know. You'd have to ask Kody." "We will." Tanya lays a printed transcript on the evidence table. "Let's go over this private voicemail left for Meri on March th. 1 month after Christine's exit. She plays it. Robyn voicemail. "We need to be strong. He's shattered on this. But perhaps now things can be put together properly at last. We've worked for this. You and me." Meri sits in the gallery, rigid as a statue. Christine doesn't even blink. Kody simply lowers his head. The judge stares, bewildered. "Mrs. Brown, did you say that?" Robyn nods very slightly. "I was upset. I didn't mean it like that. Structured right." Tanya echoes. "What did you mean?" Robyn shakes her head. "It wasn't about money. Then what was it about?" "Silence. Some truths aren't denied because they're false, but because admitting them would change how the world sees you." Kody suddenly stands. "Enough." He barks. This is a family matter being turned into a circus. Robyn is not a criminal. Judge Simmons slams the gavel. "Mr. Brown, sit down." This is not a TLC reunion episode. This is a court of law. Robyn's lower lip quivers, but Tanya has more questions. Mrs. Brown, did you ever instruct Kody on leaving Christine out of future business decisions? No. Did you ever recommend the money only go to wives who remain under one roof? A strained, lengthy silence. Yes, but thank you. Tanya faces the judge. No further questions at this time. Robyn appears shaken until cross-examination time. Kody's lawyer approaches, smoothing his sleeves. Mrs. Brown, did you really surrender your personal credit to take care of the family during the early years? Yes. And you assisted in clearing the family's debt from the Vegas relocation. Yes. And you were the only wife who was willing to marry Kody legally so that your children from your prior relationship could be adopted. Her chin rises. Yes, I made the ultimate sacrifices. Then do you think it's appropriate that you were rewarded for all that devotion? I do. Thank you. But just when Robyn believes she's weathered the storm, it does. Rebuttal time. Tanya reappears. Dead calm. Mrs. Brown, did Christine receive any monetary compensation from the clothing business started in? Robyn blinks. No, she didn't want to be involved. Did you make an offer to her? Yes. Tanya moves to the bench, lays down a document. It appears that's a falsehood. And here's an email from Christine requesting to join and being advised the business was full and that her ideas weren't compatible with the brand. Robyn's mouth opens, closes, opens again. I had forgotten about that. Is it possible you recalled and decided not to share? Another has. I don't know. The judge leans forward. Mrs. Brown,